Let's dive right into the stories of some F1 drivers who, for various reasons, saw their promising careers fall apart. Nelson Piquet Jr., the Crashgate scandal that ended everything. Starting with Nelson Piquet Jr., the son of three-time world champion Nelson Piquet, he looked like a star in the making, winning the British Formula 3 championship in 2004 and making a name in GP2. He had the pedigree and skill to succeed. But his F1 career, which kicked off with Renault, never really took off in the usual way. Instead, it's the infamous Crashgate scandal at the 2008 Singapore Grand Prix that's forever etched Piquet Jr.'s name in F1 history, and not for the right reasons. In what has to be one of the most shocking incidents in the sport, Piquet Jr. deliberately crashed on command to bring out a safety car, giving his teammate Fernando Alonso a clear path to victory. The fallout was brutal. Once the truth came out, Renault was slapped with heavy penalties, and Piquet Jr. was blacklisted from Formula One, effectively ending his career in the sport. The Crashgate scandal wasn't just a PR disaster. It was a betrayal of trust that no team could overlook. Despite his earlier promise, no team was willing to take a chance on him again, and his name became synonymous with one of the biggest scandals in racing history. Jacques Villeneuve, from champion to has-been. Next up is Jacques Villeneuve, a driver who actually reached the pinnacle of the sport, winning the World Championship in 1997. His journey into F1 was remarkable, transitioning from IndyCar champion to F1 superstar almost seamlessly. But things took a steep downhill turn. After his championship win with Williams, Villeneuve made a switch to the Bar team, and this is where the trouble started. The move, which should have been an opportunity to maintain his status as a top driver, instead saw him struggle immensely. Scoring 0 points in the 2004 season was a huge blow for someone of his caliber. What made Villeneuve's decline worse was his growing reputation for being difficult in the paddock. Blunt comments, public spats, and an arrogant attitude didn't do him any favors. The combination of poor performances and a less-than-popular personality meant his career fizzled out faster than many expected. From being a world champion to struggling to score points, Villeneuve's story is a reminder that talent must be paired with the right attitude and decisions. Villeneuve's challenges went beyond just bad luck with cars or team issues. His public outbursts often alienated not just fans, but crucial team members and sponsors. At times, his outspoken nature was seen as refreshing, honesty, but more often, it created friction in a sport that thrives on diplomacy behind the scenes. The shift from Williams to Bar wasn't just a change of team. It felt like a complete change in his career trajectory. Instead of being the dependable lead driver, he became more of a liability, with teams wary of his unpredictable mood swings. It's a classic example of how personality can impact a driver's legacy almost as much as their skill behind the wheel. Villeneuve's story serves as a cautionary tale that success isn't just about talent. It's also about how a driver carries themselves both on and off the track. Scott Speed, the American who couldn't keep it together. Scott Speed's F1 career was brief and chaotic. Coming into the sport as part of Toro Rosso's first lineup, there was some excitement about the American driver entering the European-dominated world of F1. But it quickly became clear that things were not going to go smoothly. Speed's problems were not just on the track, but off it as well. Illegal overtakes, public disagreements with team management, and outright fights painted a picture of a driver who couldn't keep his emotions or discipline in check. His results on track were disappointing, but it was his attitude and behavior that sealed his fate. Midway through the season, Toro Rosso had enough and let Speed go. No other team picked him up afterward. His story is one of wasted potential, where talent was overshadowed by a lack of professionalism. What really hurt Speed was the inability to adapt to F1's intense pressure and politics. Unlike in other series where raw aggression might be tolerated, F1 demands precision and composure. Speed's fiery temperament made him clash with engineers and teammates alike, creating a toxic environment that no top team wanted to enter. His public spats made headlines, but rarely for good reasons. Beyond just the crashes or mistakes, it was the off-track drama that made teams hesitant to take a chance on him again. It's a tough lesson on how mental strength and diplomacy are just as essential as speed in Formula One. Scott Speed's journey serves as a warning to drivers that talent is just one piece of a much bigger puzzle, and losing control can end careers faster than poor lap times ever will. Emerson Fittipaldi, a champion's questionable career choices. Emerson Fittipaldi was a different kind of story. A two-time world champion with Lotus and McLaren, he had the talent, results, and respect of the paddock. Yet, his career trajectory took a puzzling turn. At the peak of his career, Fittipaldi decided to leave McLaren and join a family-run team. While loyalty to family might seem noble, the decision was disastrous from a professional standpoint. The team was uncompetitive, and Fittipaldi struggled with poor car performance and lackluster results. This choice, despite his undeniable skill, caused a sharp decline in his career. Instead of cementing his legacy as one of F1's all-time greats, his final seasons were marked by frustration and mediocrity. It shows how even the best drivers can damage their careers with the wrong decisions. What makes Fittipaldi's case even more interesting is that it wasn't about a lack of speed or ability. Yuji Ide, the rookie who lost his license. Yuji Ide's story is perhaps the shortest and most cautionary of all. Signed by the brand new Super Aguri team, the Japanese driver arrived with a lot of expectations, being a local hero of sorts. But what followed was a painful struggle to keep up with the pace and intensity of Formula One. Ide was involved in several crashes and was judged to be dangerously slow by many experts. The final nail in the coffin came when he caused a first-lap crash that risked the safety of multiple drivers. The FIA, worried about safety, revoked his super license mid-season, effectively ending his F1 career after just a handful of races. For Ide, it was a harsh lesson in how F1 is unforgiving, especially when safety concerns come into play. Talent and potential mean little if a driver cannot handle the demands of the sport. What made Ide's case particularly striking was how quickly things unraveled. He went from being celebrated as Japan's hope for F1 to a figure many teams wanted to distance themselves from. The pressure of racing on home soil with Super Aguri, combined with the intense scrutiny from the global audience, seemed to amplify every mistake. Even the team acknowledged that Ide simply wasn't ready for the step up to Formula One's relentless environment. And in many ways, his story highlighted just how brutal the learning curve can be for rookies thrust into the spotlight too soon. Unlike other drivers who gradually build experience in lower series, Ide's rapid promotion proved fatal to his career longevity. His struggles also sparked debates about the super license system and whether some drivers get promoted before they are truly prepared. Ultimately, Ide's brief stint serves as a stark reminder that F1's speed and danger demand not just skill, but impeccable judgment and maturity behind the wheel. Each of these drivers had moments of brilliance or promise, but ultimately, their careers were undone by scandals, bad decisions, poor behavior, or just not being ready for the rigors of Formula One. From Nelson Piquet Jr.'s intentional crash to Jacques Villeneuve's poor team choices and attitude issues, to Scott Speed's lack of discipline, Emerson Fittipaldi's questionable loyalty, and Yuji Ide's lack of preparedness. The spectrum of career-ending mistakes in F1 is broad. This list serves as a reminder that talent is just one piece of the puzzle. Success in Formula One requires a blend of skill, professionalism, good decisions, and sometimes a bit of luck. When one of these elements falls away, even the brightest careers can go up in smoke. Formula One is the ultimate test of not just speed, but character and decision-making. These drivers' stories are cautionary tales for anyone dreaming of racing at the top level. It's not just about how fast you drive, but how smart you play the game, both on and off the track. If these stories sparked some curiosity, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the highs and lows of motorsport. Don't forget to ring the bell so the next incredible story drops right in your feed.